What's up YouTube, That's here, bringing you 4 games I played at the San Bruno Premier Challenge this weekend. It was a ton of fun. I ended up with a pretty decent placing. I think I got like 11th, so not quite making that top 8 cut, but still played some really cool games using a very unique Mega and a very cool combo, if I do say so myself, featuring Sludge Wave Mega Gengar. So we're going to start this off with my round 1 game against a guy named Sub. You can see he uses Salamence, Weavile, Heatran, and Heracross versus my Gastrodon, Gengar, Lucario, and Togekiss. I'm going to be talking about my team all throughout these games, giving you guys a little bit of in-depth information about my combos and the way I like to play it. So we're just going to start things up and get right into it and see Sub lead off with Sally and Weavile. Really intimidating leads, and, well, not intimidating. I guess it's a really bad joke. Intimidating because Salamence has Intimidate, but it's that Weavile bringing the fake out pressure that really makes this a hard matchup. So like I said, Intimidate's going to go off. It's not going to really affect my board considering I have 2 special attackers, but Weavile can really hard check Gengar. And, well, we're going to see me go Mega Gengar using that shiny Mega Gengar from the event in October a little while ago and gaining that Shadow Tag. So unless my opponent has a Ghost type, they're not going to be able to switch against, my team. So it lets me pretty much do what I want while I have Gengar on the board. So to start things off, I'm going to go with a Protect. I don't want to eat any unnecessary moves, especially from that Weavile. Remember, you don't gain your speed from Mega Evolution until a turn after you Mega Evolve. Speed is calculated at the beginning of the turn, so to outspeed Weavile and Salamence, I'm gonna need to pop my Mega Evolution first. We then see me going into turn 2. I'm going to switch out. I obviously do not want to fight that Weavile still, and he goes for the repeated knockoff on the Gengar slot. Very predictable move there. He knocks up my Focus Sash. It's no big deal at this point. And then he goes for a really big return onto my Gastrodon, activating my Citrus Berry. I'm going to be perfectly okay. I'm definitely playing the defensive here, but I will get to fire off an Ice Beam on that Salamence slot at the end of turn 2. So pretty good. I was not expecting the KO, and Ice Beam did a great amount of damage. So going into turn 3, we're going to see Salamence pop a Protect, and Lucario tried to get the kill with an Extreme Speed. Actually didn't work out, but it's really no big deal at this point. We see Weavile then go for Ice Punch and eat a Scald in the face right back for it, and I actually get the burn here. I was very surprised to get the burn, and we are on turn 4. This definitely changed the way I played the rest of the game. Because Weavile is now burned, I can kind of take my time and do whatever I want, knowing full well that he has like no more checks for my Gastrodon at this point. So I go for an Extreme Speed on the Salamence slot, knowing that since my Lucario was not intimidated, I can definitely get away with that. And Weavile is just going to keep Ice Punching, and remember how I froze him last turn? Or, sorry, I burned him last turn? He froze me this turn, so not the best luck coming back at me, but it's definitely what I get for burning him the turn before. We're also going to see my Gastrodon pop recover, and that recover, I really feel, sealed my victory here. So Weavile's going to take burn damage, and then retaliate at the start of turn 6 with an Ice Punch on my Gastrodon, and we're actually going to see my Lucario thaw out after 1 turn. I was really contemplating scalding my Lucario, but I really thought it would probably KO it, so I didn't go for it. But really luckily for me, I thaw out after, a turn of not even being frozen, get the KO on the Heatran, and I did actually target the Heatran with the Scald, and I know Heatran has almost no kill power on Gastrodon, so even though Lucario was frozen, and it by chance happened to thaw out after 1 turn, it didn't really affect the game that much. So I got a double KO that turn, and we're going to see Salamence and Heracross come out as his last 2 Pokemon. Now I know this is not going to be a Mega Heracross because he went Mega Sally, so I'm generally expecting a Scarf or a Sash. So we're going to see me start off with an Extreme Speed on his Protect, and then he goes for a really big close combat. And because he targeted my Lucario, I'm thinking, well, maybe he's Moxie. He could actually be Scarfed. I have no idea because of the way the speed tiers worked out that turn. So I'm just completely guessing, but I already know that I've won this game. I have Togekiss in the back, and I'm completely ready to win. So I go for a Scald, and we're going to see Toxic Orb activate, so we know that he's actually Guts. I think Guts is a great option for Heracross, just mainly not in doubles. So we're going to see Choice Scarf Togekiss come out here, and just lay down those dazzling gleams, and win me the game, getting a double knockout for the second time this match, I guess. So Heracross and Togekiss have like a really weird thing where after I realized that he was not Scarfed, I realized I was completely safe just going for Dazzling Gleam. Super effective on both those Pokemon. Gets the cleanup right there. Pretty easy round 1. He couldn't really KO Gastrodon, and it led me to victory. So pretty good game against Sub, and we're just gonna go into the next game. I'm gonna be playing as Hui, and this is the guy who eventually won the tournament. Really great competitor. He's topped at Worlds before. He's using, I think, Sejun Park's team from the International Challenge. He gets the, Charizard, Venusaur, the Moonlight Cresselia, and Terrakions always standard. So we're going to get right into it, start it up. Like I said, this is the team that won the tournament, so you probably guess how this is going to go for me here. I'm going to lead off with Lucario Gengar, one of the main combos of this team. I thought he was going to lead with his Terrakion, but he didn't. He decides to lead off with Charizard Venusaur. And this is actually going to be a very, 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 very long game in VGC Standard. So we're going to see Lucario get out of there. I really would rather not eat like a Heat Wave in the face. And I don't know if he's going to Mega Evolve this turn, but I decided just to go into Heatran. There's no real reason not to go into Heatran here. I'm then going to activate my Mega Stone. Going into that Mega Gengar, I always think it's really cool to use Shiny Mega Gengar. And remember, I'm gaining Shadow Tags, so my opponents can no longer switch because they didn't switch out that turn. We then see Huigo for Charizard, Y, going for the Drought, going to make his Venusaur super fast. And when you see a team like this, you can generally assume that both the opponent's Pokemon are going to go for a double Protect. I Protect this turn just to make sure, because I would literally go down. I would literally just get one-shotted by an Overheat. And I didn't want to take the risk. I decided to Protect. And, this is going to be just a complete wasted turn. 3 out of the 4 Pokemon protected, and one of them switched. So, starting off turn 2, he's going to go for a Sleep Powder. Remember, he has Chlorophyll, so he is super fast. Going to put my Heatran to sleep, and I'm then going to go for a Sludge Wave. So this is one of the main combos of the team. Sludge Wave is a super strong poison attack, stabbed by Gengar, who's like full special attack investment, hits everything on the board, even your partner. So using Pokemon like Heatran and Gengar, you can kind of avoid that negative effect and still do a ton of AoE poison damage, which is something that isn't really prevalent in this game at the moment. We're then going to see him go for a Grass Pledge, Fire Pledge combo. It didn't really work that turn. So that's what his whole main strategy of his team is to go for. The Fire Pledge, Grass Pledge. It creates like a field of kind of burning things that ticks at the end of the turn. It creates like a sandstorm, but happens for your whole opposing team. So you see it's going to clock my Sash, but remember it's going to activate, and at the end of the turn for the next 5 turns, each of my Pokemon take an eighth of their HP or something like that. And it doesn't proc my Flash Fire, which is very annoying. We're still going to see my Heatran also be asleep for a million turns, so it's really not the best outcome, but what are you going to do? So Lucario's going to go down. I just couldn't forfeit my Gengar for that. Gengar's going to come back out, and remember, he still can't switch. He hasn't really had a chance to switch. I switched in Lucario just to get KO'd, so we're going to see his Venusaur go for a Protect here. He probably is expecting my Heatran to wake up sometime soon. I'm going to pop a Protect just because I'm trying to wait out his sun so I can start using Heatran effectively. And, I can start using Gengar effectively, because once Venusaur is slow, I don't really have anything to fear. I don't want to get put to sleep for free. Sunlight is going to fade, and remember, he can't switch, so this is going to just kind of happen. And the Sea of Flames does stay on the board, so we're going to see Sludge Wave come out. Doesn't affect Heatran. It's going to hit all these guys super hard. And I pick up the KO on the Venusaur. Does a decent amount of Charizard. And, Charizard's going to go for a Fire Pledge here. And it still does a ton of my Gengar, even without Grass Pledge. And remember how there's Fire Pledge, like the Sea of Flames on the board? My Gengar is actually going to go down to that at the end of the turn. So, very unfortunate for me. That's just kind of how this works. And looking at the rest of his Pokemon, he had Terrakion and Cresselia. 2 Pokemon that Gengar would have, literally destroyed. So, not the best result there, but what are you going to do? He sends out his Cresselia here. He goes for a Protect with his Charizard, which is a pretty safe play. And I go for an Air Slash targeting Cresselia. This is a Choice Scarf Togekiss, remember. I'm just trying to get a flinch. I don't really know what it's going to do, but I would really like to stop a Calm Mind. So I actually don't get the flinch, and he gets an Icy Wind off, which is really unfortunate because my Togekiss is scarfed, and now it's pretty much useless. And I can't really... No, I'm out of Pokemon. I can't even switch. I don't have any more Pokemon left. So we're going to see me go for a Heat Wave. And remember, Charizard Protect, it's not doing that much to Cresselia. So not the best result. But we're just going to see what happens. We're going to see the Sea of Fire disappear finally. And now Charizard's finally going to switch because he's able to. Going into Terrakion here. He probably just wants to come out later and restart the sun. So Terrakion's going to come out. And I Air Slash. I'm still Air Slashing this Cresselia because I still know I'm faster. Getting it really low. I get the flinch this turn. And then I get to fire off a pretty big Heat Wave from Heatran. Dropping that Cresselia super low. So pretty good turn for me. We're going to see Cresselia withdraw here. And he goes into Charizard. I was really thinking I should just Air Slash that slot, but we'll see what happens this turn. He's going to start his Drought up again, and I'm kind of happy he starts his Drought up, because my Heatran can, start doing a lot more damage to everything else on the board. He goes for a Rock Slide here, and I actually really thought he would just go for a Close Combat. Because looking at what Pokemon he had left, it looked like he couldn't hit Heatran. So I really thought he would go for Close Combat, which means I felt my Togekiss was safe. So kind of lame that my Togekiss goes down there. We're going to start off turn 10 by going into a one-on-one Terrakion versus Choppleberry Heatran, and I laugh at his Close Combat damage. And, you know, I get to KO the Heatran. Well, after I think I eat like a Solar Beam, lol. Yeah, I'm really happy to see that isn't Agent Power. So I think Choppleberry is definitely putting in the work needed here. We're going to see, like I said, I'm going to eat a Solar Beam, but then Flash Cannon is going to be able to retaliate pretty heavily against this Terrakion. So most people actually don't use Flash Cannon on their Heatrans anymore. They either use Flash Cannon or Earth Power. They pick one. A lot of people are using Earth Power. I actually don't use Sub on this Heatran. I have Protect, Heat Wave, Flash Cannon, and Earth Power. I just don't like Sub. I don't like the way it works right now. It's just personally my opinion. But this turn, Sub might not have been a bad idea, because I knew he was going to Moonlight. I knew he was going to Moonlight. That's just like the way this team works. Sejun is a pretty smart player, and he's one of the first to monopolize like this combo, using Moonlight with Charizard X, or sorry, Charizard Y. Charizard X Moonlight's pretty terrible. And, you know, the last few turns of this game are pretty much just going to be me trying to, you know, KO this Cresselia while eating Solar Beam damage. So not the most exciting way to end this really exciting, well, this really intense game. We're going to see him go for a Calm Mind here. And this is where I knew I lost the game. There's like no way I can come back from this. Cresselia Calm Minding, I just have to pray for crits. And the whole time I'm just like talking to him, I'm like praying for crits. I almost get the KO on Charizard. Yeah, I don't even think I got the KO on it. So quite unfortunate there, considering he can do more chip damage with Solar Beam if he has to. And Cresselia obviously just going to Moonlight for days. I really would have liked to burn, but, you know, I was on the way to an event. I was actually talking to one of my friends, and I was like, you know, I don't mind losing to this guy. He's a great player. He always posts decent results, so he's one of the people I really like playing, and there's just nothing I can really do here. Sunlight Fades means I'm going to do even less damage with these Heat Waves, and, yeah, the Psychic's just going to, you know, do a really massive amount of damage. I go for one last, like, YOLO Heat Wave, but, going to pick up the KO on Charizard, but I'm not going to get the crit. Cresselia will stand strong and wall out my Heatran. You know, the story of this tournament is always, well, all day. Like, the story of this tournament was just people not having checks for Heatran. Like, I guess he grinded it out in the end, but the only reason why he grinded me out was because I was asleep for 3 turns, the first 3 turns of the game. So, quite unfortunate. I go into 1-1, and yeah, like all my opponents just had like no checks for Heatran. We'll see that in the later games that I'm going to show you guys. So, going into another round. Game 3, this is actually round 4. Game 3, there was a disconnect, and I was losing, so I was awarded the loss. So, I was definitely losing that game. My opponent got like 2 crits, like a flinch, and I missed a Will-O-Wisp. I was definitely going to lose that one. But, disconnects happen quite frequently at this event, and I was awarded the loss. So, anyways, we're going to go into round 4. Looking at this guy's team, it's actually quite unique. And this is a player who has competed at the national and world level before. And he's just like, he used to be a seniors player. So this is one of his more recent attempts at Masters. But looking at his team, I generally just had a feel there was going to be Charizard X. So I brought a team that could potentially deal with it. And yeah, I wasn't wrong. So we're going to start this up. Go right into it, and Elite Togekiss Gengar here. Not the best leads with my team. I can't really Sludge Wave with my Togekiss on the board, but I can make some plays. I don't always have to Sludge Wave. And we're going to go up against Excadrill Togekiss. And this is, sorry, Excadrill Charizard. And this is exactly what I wanted to see. This is why I love a Togekiss, because I knew he would be with Excadrill. So, we're going to go Mega. Remember, he completely thought that I would be Focus Sash. That's why we're going to see this turn play out the way it does. So, Gengar is going to pop a Protect this turn. I think I've done that every single turn this tournament. And I'm going to go for a Choice Scarf or a Spear on this Excadrill. Remember, we saw Mold Breaker at the first turn of the game, so we know he's just going to try and stay in, well, and obviously go for that Choice Scarf, the Choice Scarf Earthquake. Togekiss is actually faster because it's timid. We're going to see Charizard pop a Dragon Dance. Remember, he didn't Mega, which is actually kind of weird, but oh well. He Megas this turn, though, goes into that shiny Charizard X, gaining the Tough Cause ability, becoming a huge threat, and Gengar's definitely done its job. We're going to see Charizard Protect this turn, which is even better for me, but Togekiss is actually going to pick up the KO on Excadrill, and remember, now that Excadrill's gone, like, there aren't really that many checks for my Heatran, and it's up to Charizard to really take out the Gengar. So we're going to see me Shadow Ball. Remember, he did Protect, so I'm completely fine there. And my Togekiss, remember, is locked into Aurasphere, so that's not the best matchup. I decided to withdraw and go into, I think I went into Heatran. Yeah, I expected like a Fire attack on my Togekiss, considering that's the thing that can wall out the Charizard. But that's not how this turn's going to go out. He pops a Prankster Sunny Day with his Sableye, which is a really smart move here. And he decides to go for a Fire Punch on my Gengar slot instead. It's always Gengar that people like to nuke, because they always think, like, I don't want to get Perish Locked. I don't want to get Perish Locked. And that's just not the way my Gengar runs. So we're going to see Togekiss come back out here, but it's already done its job. We're going to get quashed by the Sableye really good in this situation here. And then I'm just going to get Fire Punch. So pretty good play here from him. I am starting to lose hope in this tournament. Remember, I'm like 1-2 right now. And I just go for an Earth Power on Charizard. I'm not expecting a KO here. I'm just expecting a decent amount of damage. So to this point, I decided to send my Lucario out, and I got these two Steel types, and I'm pretty confident that this Charizard does not have Earthquake. We've seen Fire Punch, Dragon Dance, Protect. There's probably like a Dragon Claw in there. There's probably no Earthquake, and go for a couple Protects this turn. He went for a Will-O-Wisp. This turn pretty much ended up being a wash. So to this point, he's going to withdraw his Charizard here. I was actually really surprised that he went with that, and go into Cryogonal or whatever. I always call that the snowflake thing, because that's what it looks like to me. I ate a Will-O-Wisp, and, you know, my Lucario has definitely already done its job. I actually miss a Heat Wave on the Sableye, which is quite unfortunate. That's actually the only target I actually really wanted to hit, but whatever, it's fine. So we're going to see Charizard X come in after I take this burn damage, and, you know, this is just another, like, story of people not being able to KO my Heatran. Heatran just becoming a... Like, Chople Berry Heatran is really hard to KO if you don't have a Landorus. We're going to see me go for an Extreme Speed, actually not pick up the KO on Charizard, but it's going to definitely put Charizard in that Heat Wave range. He goes for that, like, big Dragon Claw, but it's not really going to be able to ever break my Heatran. And to this point, we do this fist pump, and this game's going to be over, because his Sableye doesn't really have any attacks that can do anything. And I was thinking about Flash Cannoning this last turn, but I just went with Heat Wave. But I don't know, I should have just Flash Cannon, because I can totally miss. Heat Wave can miss, I mean. He goes with Quash, it's not going to work. And, yeah, Heat Wave's going to come out. And it's going to pick me up the GG. So at this point, oh, I got a crit. Oh, well. Didn't even need it. To this point that I'm 3-2, or sorry, 2-2. I'm 2-2 right now. And, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Heatran walled out yet another victim. And we're going to move on to the last round before top. We're going to be fighting against Nami, who's using Whimsicott, Terrakion, Mega Metagross, and Zapdos. Probably one of the more standard teams I fought this tournament. And I'm going to be leading with the lead that I wanted to bring with all tournament, but I've seen too many Charizards and Weaviles. I couldn't bring a Moongus all tournament, and it's going to make its first showing in this last round. So we're going to get into it. Remember, I think I'm leading off against like Whimsicott and something. So we're going to see a Moongus Gengar. Now, the whole point of this lead is to be, like, I protect and Mega Gengar, right? So they can't switch, and I just put everything to bed. Leading off against Whimsicott Terrakion, the old school leads from BGC 2013. It might even be 12. No, it's 12. BGC 2012, wow. So that's a long time ago. And it's obviously be that, like, beat-up combo, but I don't know for sure. We're going to see him pop a Tailwind first, because sometimes the Terrakions are Scarfed, sometimes the Terrakions are One-Buried, sometimes they're really weird items. And he's just going to go for a Rock Slide here. And I'm really hoping that it doesn't flinch my Amoonguss. And I go for a Spore, knowing like 80% that that thing has a Lumberry, but that this is just my greatest chance at not losing the game. So he procs the Lumberry, and that's one Lumberry down. He can't do it again. So I'm gonna switch my Gengar out, go into something that won't die to a +4 Rock Slide, hopefully. Go into my Lucario here. It's always Lucario switching in just to eat these super strong attacks, and this is the main combo of my opponent's team. He has his Tailwind up, he's super fast, and his Whimsicott's going to go for Beat Up, which procs, he's targeting his Terrakion, which procs is justified. It's an old school combo, and it's going to give him +4, and Terrakion's already really strong, really fast, has Close Combat, Rock Slide, EQ, bunch of really cool moves at its disposal that at +4 can pretty much KO most Pokemon. So at this point, he goes for Rock Slide. I was praying for a miss, but it didn't happen, and, you know, the power of Amoonguss, being full HP defense, gonna get that second spore off. I cannot believe I did not get flinched. That was so... I wouldn't say it's lucky, but in reality, like, he shouldn't have flinched me. It's only a 30% chance to happen, and it just always seems to happen. It's at this point that I make, like, the coolest play of, like, the whole tournament here. Remember, Terrakion is going to be asleep, and he probably just expected me to, like, Giga Drain or something. But, since I know Lucario is faster, and I realize he's either going to switch that Terrakion out, or he's just going to leave it in and get KO'd. So, we know he doesn't have a Sash, so he's going to go down to Close Combat. There's no way he can't. So, Close Combat's going to happen. And I also targeted that same Terrakion slot with Spore, seeing as, like, there's no other move to really use. I could have Rage Powdered for no reason, or I could have Giga Drained for no reason, and the chance of him switching a Pokemon out and something eating a Spore, which is too high. So Zapdos ate a Spore for free. We're going to see Metagross come in, and it's going to pop that Mega. This is actually the Metagross from the event. I was talking to him, so he used the event Mega Gengar and the event Mega Metagross, two shiny white Megas, so quite uncommon to see. Starting off the turn, though, I'm going to go for a Follow Me, and he procs a sub. He really was saying how he didn't expect me to follow me with my Lucario. He expected, like, a Rage Powder, and that's just not what happened. So Tailwind's finally going to peter out, but it's at this point that I really need to break that Lucario, or sorry, the Metagross's sub. So he goes for an Iron Head. Well, he has to hit my Amoonguss, but we can assume that's who he targeted, considering it was Iron Head instead of Zen Headbutt. And we're actually going to get an Effect Spore proc, and it's actually the Sleep Bone, which is quite funny to see. And then he takes Rocky Helmet damage, but he's saying, like, oh, I can't believe these hacks. But we're actually going to see that, like, hacks didn't really come into it at all. I go for a Close Combat onto the Metagross slot here, breaking the sub, and, well, he's like, I can't believe I'm asleep, this is so lame. But then we're going to see Gengar come out, and, Gengar is pretty good against, like, Mega Metagross. It doesn't really matter if it's asleep. So, we're going to see Gengar come out here, and, Gengar obviously has that Shadow Ball. It's super effective in this game. I go for the Follow Me, showing that it really doesn't matter what move he uses. And Gengar Shadow Ball, so it's not even like Metagross was faster than Gengar anyways. He could have potentially went for like a Protect play, but, you know, I Follow Me, so I just would have Shadow Balled the Zapdos instead. So it really almost mattered nothing, him being asleep. It almost like it psyched him out. That's all that mattered anyways. So Zapdos is going to wake up and Thunderbolt my Lucario, finishing it off. And it's going to be his last two Pokemon, I think, versus my last two Pokemon too. It's going to be Whimsicott and Zapdos. Coming off against Gastrodon. And I'm really praying he doesn't have any Grass Tech on that Whimsicott. That would be so unfortunate. We're going to see him start off by popping a Tailwind. Pretty good move there. And I'm going to be Sludge Waving here, actually targeting my own Gastrodon with that. So it's going to do super effective times 4 damage against Whimsicott, proc on the Sash, and decent damage against Zapdos as well. So then we're going to see Zapdos go for a Thunderbolt off onto my Gengar, and it's actually kind of funny that I live here at 4 HP, because my Gengar is actually Rash Nature, which is minus Special D. It's just the best one that I could actually get out of the event. It's really hard to soft reset, or it's a really time-consuming effort to soft reset Gengar. So I was really surprised that I lived, and then we're actually going to see Gengar, after Zapdos goes down, go down to a beat-up, which is something that I've never actually seen before. It's really, we were laughing, that's like Whimsicott actually picking up a KO, that's so uncommon. But then he's going to go down to an Ice Beam, and this is actually going to be the game. So it's going to put my record at 3-2, and there were a bunch of 3-2s at the event. And, you know, unfortunately, I just didn't make top. I got 11th, I think. And top 16 is a decent showing, but not exactly what I would have liked. I just had a lot of fun at the event. My main goal was to go down, try out a new team. I really wanted to use the Sludge Wave Gengar for the longest time, and, you know, after my showing in Lancaster, I really felt that I couldn't use Sceptile again because too many people really knew the team's strengths and weaknesses. So I had fun with Mega Gengar, and yeah, I just had a blast. So thank you guys for watching it. I hope you guys had a lot of fun, and hope you guys test out Mega Gengar with Sludge Wave. It is a blast. So see you guys next time. Peace out.